I'm going to show you how to fix this power supply from a 2024 Samsung 8K TV. And the issue the customer was experiencing is that the TV was completely dead. It would not power up at all. Now, the power supply is located inside the One Connect box. They did open it up and they confirmed that this fuse over here next to the power connector was blown. So I'm going to show you exactly how to confirm that and also how to fix the power supply on a component level. I have my multimeter in continuity mode, which means I have a beep when I have continuity. A good fuse should have continuity. And I don't get a beep. That means I don't have continuity. I have another fuse over here I can check. That one does give me a beep. I do have continuity, and the multimeter is reading very low resistance. I'm getting less than 1 ohm. So that confirms it. The fuse next to the power connector has failed open and will need to be replaced. Now, a fuse does not fail for no reason. Typically, it's because there are shorted components down the line. We're gonna flip the board over and switch over to our microscope to take a closer look at the back of the board. Now, this is our fuse over here and the other leg right over here. If we move the board just a little bit over to the right, we will see 3 legs right here. And if we move a little bit more, another 3 legs over here. Let's flip back over to the front. And those 3 legs are going to be for this transistor over here at location ID QP802CS and this transistor over here at location ID QP801CS. Those 2 transistors commonly fail shorted and cause the fuse to blow. So again, in my beep mode for continuity checks, we're going to put 1 lead on the center leg and the other on the outer legs, and we get a beep. That means we have continuity. A transistor is not supposed to have continuity like a fuse does, so that tells me that transistor has failed shorted and will need to be replaced. Okay, let's check the other one. No beep, and no beep. Now that second transistor did not have any beeps. However, because it is known that both of them can commonly fail, we will want to replace both. Let's flip the board back over, and we'll start by unscrewing the transistors from the heatsink. We'll also make sure to remove the plastic insulation tab. Repeat the process one more time. And I just want to make sure that my transistors are loose. Okay, they are, and they are. While we're on the front side, I'm going to use my needle nose pliers, and we're going to remove some of that silicone. Flip the board over again. And now we'll remove the silicone on the back side that is covering our solder joints. Now to remove the transistors, we do need to desolder them. And in order to do that, we need to get really good flow with some of this solder. The reason for is this power supply has very large, thick joints that are multi-layered, very big ground pads. And that means that they're going to require a lot of heat to properly desolder. These are very difficult to desolder. So I'm adding solder first, and I want to get really good flow on all my joints. And today we're going to be using our desolder pump. So I can kind of wiggle that leg inside of that joint, which tells me that I have good flow, which then tells me that it's a good time for me to use the pump. And there we go. We'll repeat the process one more time over here. I can't really push that pin. I don't have perfect flow yet. Okay, I think I have a little movement here. And I have a hard time seeing if that's a lot of solder that's left or the silicone from the top. I think it's actually a bit of both. Maybe we come back to that one. Let's try desoldering this guy over here. Visually, it looks like I have good flow, but I can't really push or move that pin, which tells me it's still soldered down. Oh, there we go. Now I have good flow. Oh, we almost got all of it. Try again. Better, but not 100%. Let's try to just finish off the desoldering process with our wick now that we got the majority of the solder out of the way. And I'm just going to grab the transistor with my needle nose and see if I can wiggle it out. I can. We're almost there. There we go. Perfect. One more time on the other transistor. This one over here looked like it gave me the best flow the fastest, so that should be our easier one to desolder. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. This one's really in there. Okay, let's just go for the bulk of it. And what we're going to do for this one, oh, actually, this one's pretty loose pretty quick, so I should be able to get it. Not quite. We still have some. Let me try slightly different. Oh, you know what? Yeah, let me try slightly different angle. All right, let's do this. We're gonna add a little bit more solder to this one, get our flow again, and try one more time. I can see the solder flowing, but I'm having a hard time desoldering it. So same thing, let's switch back over to the wick. and see if perhaps we can get the rest of that. You know what? I think we got it. There's still some solder in that hole, but the actual leg is desoldered, so we should be able to wiggle it out. There we go. Oh, you know what? It looks like we broke the leg. Well, that's okay. So what we're gonna do next is just remove a little bit more of the silicone, and we'll desolder any remaining solder from the top side. And we're back in continuity. We get a beep when we do have continuity. We don't want continuity here. And no beep, no beep, no beep, and no beep. That's good. And here's our two transistors. This is the broken leg one, and we did not have a short on it. We still don't, obviously. And this one was the other. And we do have a short, which confirms this one was at fault and did require replacement. Next, we're gonna remove the thermal pad from the heatsink, and that's because we're gonna replace it with our own. We're gonna do a quick cleanup on the heatsink itself because we wanna make sure that our replacement has very good contact. We can't have anything in the way of the transistor being flush against the heatsink. And now for the replacements, we're gonna put our double-sided conductive, thermally conductive tape on them. If you have a defective power supply or one connect box that you would like to send in for us to fix, we do offer flat rate services, which come by default with a 1-year warranty. Those are available on our website, which I'll link in the video description down below. All of our repairs also do come with our upgraded components. We'll flip it over, place our screw and plastic bracket. We'll notice the circuit board has the center leg pushed forward. So we're gonna do the same thing here. Push it forward a little bit, just like that. And we should be able to feed it through. We'll repeat the process one more time. And we can now solder down our replacement transistors. As I'm soldering these new ones down, I'm hanging out on the joint for a few extra seconds to make sure we have that really good heat transfer all the way through all the layers of the board. This way we can ensure we have a really good, strong joint. Now the leads are much longer than we want them to be, so we'll cut those off. And there's a little flux residue left over, so we'll clean that up. We're using isopropyl alcohol and a brush, and we'll soak the rest up with our Q-tip. Final inspection, everything looks pretty good. I just want to make sure I don't have any accidental solder splashes or anything like that. And I'm going to do just a final tighten of the screws to make sure that the transistors are really tight and snug against that heatsink. And lastly, let's go ahead and replace the fuse. We're going through that same process. We're adding some solder first, getting really good flow. This time around, I'm just gonna do it one joint at a time. Let's see. This side is not quite fully desoldered. There we go. Fuse fell right out. We'll feed our replacement through. Again, we'll cut off the leads. We're back in continuity mode. One final check. No continuity, no continuity, no continuity, no continuity. That confirms it. Both of our transistors are no longer shorted, so we're good to go there. Let's go ahead and make sure that the fuse is good now. And this one we do want continuity, and we have it. So we're good to go for a live test and voltage check. So as soon as I plug in this power supply, it should click on and fully activate. So just be very careful if you're going to be doing this step. In fact, I recommend you don't, but we're going to be doing it here today to show you. And I just heard it click on. We're going to zoom in and focus on the upper left corner. We have a spot here that says A13 volts. Let's go ahead and check it out. And I'm getting 12.78 volts. So that's pretty close to 13. I'll consider that good. And then we have our VDRV over here, negative on negative, positive on positive, and we're getting 50 volts. So that confirms it. We have a successful repair. If you found the video helpful or useful, leave us a like, subscribe for more content, and thank you for watching.